All right? Not everyone comes from a philosophical point of view. But some people, especially in today's world, where we are definitely wealthier, we're healthier, we live longer, we have time to ask questions like, what is the meaning of this? There's some generations, and you might even still know them, they don't have time, they never thought of that before. They're too worried with surviving. They're too worried, they don't ask that kind of question. This is the kind of question that people who have more money, more time on their hands ask, basically, right? There's not many philosophers among the dirt poor, okay? This is the kind of thing that the more wealthy people ask. But basically, that's our generation. And if that's not your generation, then that's your kid's generation, and you need to be able to answer it. They want to know because they have this time on their hands. They see suffering. They want to know, what is the meaning of all this? Our current generations are skeptical ones. This is the skeptic's introduction to the Word of God. Skeptics look at life and say, I don't understand why so much suffering. How can there be a God? He answered the question in 2 lines. And then he just drops it. He's done. Because those 2 lines, fear God and keep His commandments, are explained from the beginning to the very end of the Bible. It explains what that means. Three, how can we live with all of these in mind? So in light of the final conclusion, live life in the fear of God, keep His commandments, what does He say about how to live life? Again, coming from the guy who's claimed to have accomplished these amazing things, and he said a lot of it has no ultimate point. What does he say about how to live life? Don't worry, he says. He says enjoy life in the present. Now don't look at these next verses casually, because throughout the millennia, people have tried to get rid of this book for these next verses. People don't like what he's about to say, even some people today. This is chapter 3, verse 12. I know that there is nothing better for people than to be happy and to do good while they live, that each of them may eat and drink and find satisfaction in all of their toil, in all of their work, that they would find satisfaction in the work that they do. This is the gift of God. Next. Understand there is a time for all events in life. This is a very famous passage, and I'm just going to skip around. Go to chapter 3, verse 1. I'm actually going to read this out of a different version. I find this, the Net Bible, more useful for this passage. Chapter 3, verse 1. For everything there is an appointed time, and an appropriate time for every activity on earth. Go down to verse 6. A time to search and a time to give up something as lost, a time to keep, a time to throw away. Verse 7. A time to rip and a time to sow, a time to keep silent and a time to speak. So, if you have time later, you can go and see his full argument for how to live life. Well, understand that there is a time for this and there is a time for that. This also ties together Proverbs and Ecclesiastes. Proverbs being the very, very positive book that speaks generally. Proverbs would say, live good and good things will happen to you. And that's generally true, but not always. And that's where the book of Ecclesiastes is tied to the book of Proverbs. They're meant to be understood, like the book of Job is meant to be understood together. All right? The book of Ecclesiastes kind of also looks at the incongruities of life. So when you think about it, the positiveness of Proverbs and the kind of realism of Ecclesiastes, there's a time to teach one, there's a time to teach the other. you could think of it like this. My father taught me through the book of Proverbs when I was a senior in high school before I left home to go to university. But the book of Ecclesiastes is what you might teach someone before they enter the real world. It's like level 2. Next, expect injustice, trust God. This is verse 16. And I saw something else under the sun. In the place of judgment, wickedness was there. In the place of justice, wickedness was there. Verse 17. I said to myself, God will bring into judgment both righteous and the wicked, for there will be a time for every activity, a time to judge every deed. This is not one I liked a whole lot years ago. I don't like to say the Bible just flat out say things are going wrong sometimes. It says to expect corruption and dishonesty. We have a lot of business owners in here, my wife included. So, in reality, we do see this dishonesty and corruption when we're working. People can try to hurt your business, and they do it just because it will benefit them. These are things you will see. He says expect it. But trust God. God is in ultimate control. Allow God to be the judge. Don't try to be the judge yourself. Work with all your might. This is something I think people through the ages were a lot more comfortable with. Verse 10. Whatever your hands find to do, do it with all your might. For in the realm of the dead, for among those who have died, where you are going, there is neither working, nor planning, nor knowledge, nor wisdom. So, while you're still living, do as much as you can. However, do it in light of, he just said don't be a workaholic. Do it in light of spending, he will talk about spending time with your wife, loving your wife. He'll talk about these different things. So work with all your might in light of enjoying life, in light of enjoying family and work. Enjoy work and its benefits. A person can do no better. This is chapter 2. We're going back. Chapter 2, verse 24. NIV. Chapter 2, verse 24. A person can do nothing better than to eat and drink and find satisfaction in all their toil. This too, I see, is from the hand of God. Verse 25. For without Him, without God, who can eat or find enjoyment? Verse 26. To the person who pleases Him, God gives wisdom, knowledge, and happiness. But to the sinner, He gives the task of gathering and storing up wealth to hand it over to those who please God. This too is meaningless. Chasing after the wind. So he's saying, while living in the fear of God, find enjoyment in your work. Now, the word find here is it's an active thing. I don't think work, in my experience, a lot of you have many more years of it. Work doesn't just show itself how fun it is to you, right? I've never seen work just demonstrate to me, I'm so fun. But you have to actively go and look for how can you enjoy the work that God has given you. It's an active thing. Sometimes you have to look hard. And again, as it says, verse 25, verse 24, that enjoyment is itself from God. Maybe you have to pray about it. Maybe you have to look harder. Now this is from chapter 9, verse 9. You don't have to go there. Enjoy, well, maybe you should go there now that I see the context of the verse, so my wife doesn't get me later. Enjoy life with your wife, whom you love. It's in the Bible. All the days of the meaningless life that God has given you under the sun, all your meaningless days, for this is your lot in life, and honor all your work under the sun. So if you're married, Enjoy your wife. Enjoy your family. Enjoy life to the fullest under the fear of God. This is from chapter 11. Chapter 11, verse 9. You who are young. We have young people in here. Enjoy life while you're young. Be happy while you are young. Let your heart give you joy in the days of your youth. Follow the ways of your heart, and whatever you see, whatever your eyes see, enjoy all these things. But know that for all these things, God will bring you into judgment. So, enjoy everything that you can while you're young, but knowing that God will bring you into judgment. That means reward you for things that you've done well and for things that you haven't done. But you have the freedom. Verse 10. So then, banish anxiety. Banish anxiety from your heart. Banish this fear of what's going to happen tomorrow from your heart. Cast off the troubles of your body, for youth and vigor have no meaning apart, again, from the fear of God. Fear God now, because old age and death come quickly. Go to chapter 12, verse 14. This is right at the end of the book. Again, all these things, enjoy life, enjoy work, it has to be done within the boundary of godly living. For God will bring, chapter 12, verse 14, for God will bring every deed into judgment. Other versions read, He brings every deed into evaluation. He will evaluate everything we've done, including every hidden thing, whether it is good or whether it is evil. You know, we tend to live as if we have unlimited time. It's just human nature. We always kind of get if there's a train track running through the room, in human nature is that train track, we easily just slip onto it. And we live as if we have unlimited time. Most of us live as though we expect a very long life. Our body is just a vehicle. It's a vehicle for service to God. But our bodies, they're frail, they're weak. They can stop at any moment. We don't have unlimited time. When we do die, it's too late for changes. It's too late to be more faithful. It's too late to enjoy our family, to enjoy work, to enjoy God with all our heart. The body's a delicate thing. And remember, we have to remember God will evaluate everything we do. So if you were here today and you haven't trusted God with your life, if you have not trusted in the completed work of Jesus Christ, when you die, it's over. It's done. It's too late to trust God. So trust Him now. Now, we as a community, we Bemidji Community Church, we're not asking anything from you. I certainly don't want anything from anyone. We don't demand your money, your time, or your skills. I'm a volunteer. I'm certainly there's nothing I'm getting for this. But what I do want is that you trust Jesus Christ with your life. If there's anyone here who has not ever done that. As the Son of God, He came to earth to be punished for our sins, and He was risen from the dead to demonstrate who He was and to show that He has the power to save us. He is asking for us just to trust Him and to count on what He has already done for us. Now, for those of us who have believed and we are trusting in the completed work of Christ, in conclusion, There are the three things, again, that the book teaches. They're very useful for us that can put us on the right track for the new year. One, life can become meaningless. Apart from the fear of God, this is something that life is. Living in the fear of God gives valid meaning to life. Again, we talked about what the fear of God meant. While expecting difficulty, while expecting challenges, you are called to enjoy your life, enjoy your family, and enjoy your work as God's gift. So seek to enjoy them. And remember to do so within the boundary of godly living, because we will be evaluated for everything that we do. All right. You would bow your heads with me.